Hello and welcome, friends. I hope everybody's having a great day so far. If you are new here, welcome. And I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button and sticking around. And if you're back, welcome back. I greatly appreciate all of the ongoing support. This is my channel, Juggins Jewel Creative Gems, and I'm Tegan. And today I have my good old WIP Chats. And that just means, for those of you who are new, WIP stands for Work in Progress. That can be a diamond painting, another crafty project. You can treat this like a podcast and you can get some cleaning done, or any other kind of chores or anything that you feel like kind of doing. It's totally up to you. And basically I just chat away and catch you up on, I do this every 2 weeks, so usually it's a 2-week update. Today I'm working on my diamond painting. It is a red cardinal from Make Market. I had unboxed it a while back there. I think I had bought it at Michael's around Christmas time. So I had started it kind of as a side project and kind of put it aside for a while, and now I'm back at it. I've got about 5 sections left of it to work on here, so my goal is to finish this up before I start any other work in progresses. And today I'm using my DP Gals Creations tray. I've been enjoying it lately, and I decided to change it up with my pens a bit, and I decided to pull out my MG factory pens that I had bought a while ago. Haven't used them in a while. I keep forgetting I have them. So I decided to change it up, work with those pens. I've been enjoying Randa's Crafty Corner Salted Caramel Pumpkin Putty. That's what's currently in my multi-placers at the moment. I did have a glue dot in my other pen, but this one still has some putty in it, so I'm just going to go with that. Of course, I'm going to see how long this goes. I'm not sure. Hopefully it'll be a little bit on the longer end. So make sure you pull out your coffee. I've got mine here. And we'll get all caught up. Not that I've had anything crazy happen. I think last time I was doing my WIP Chat, I ended up getting interrupted by the phone a couple of times. And that was just to get all lined up to do some last minute elections work, because we had our provincial election called and all of that, and so I got signed up with that. I ended up working it. So pretty much my 2-week update is me working the election. I had that day I was filming, I had gotten the call to sign up for the training, which was later that afternoon, so I ended up pretty much filling my WIP Chat, getting off, doing the online course that's required. Then I did as much of that online course as I possibly could and went to my in-class training, and then came home and finished up my online course in prep for working it. I ended up being an election officer, so that just is a position at the polling station where I worked the advanced polls, and they did it electronically, so we had little laptops that we looked everybody up on, and scanners that could scan their where to vote cards and their driver's license and stuff to pull them up into the system. So I was basically that person. I was taking their ID, making sure they were eligible to vote, that they were in our system, adding them if they needed to be added, updating any of their information that needed updating, and issuing them their ballots to vote, and explaining basically how to fill out the ballot as well. So that, I did that for the entire advanced poll, which ran from the 23rd through 27th, so a full, what is that, 5 days, I think? Yeah, so a full 5 days, and they were long days, because of course you show up on day one and you set everything up. And that's everything from tables to chairs to all of the technical equipment. And then of course your particular station, which has some envelopes for any spoiled ballots, declined ballots, that sort of thing. So I got all that set up. Then you kind of help other people if they need help. You get caught up on kind of what they call housekeeping. So if you have to go bathroom, that sort of thing, where it is, etc., etc. Nothing too exciting there. And then of course you get some breaks and you get a lunch and all that, and you kind of work that around based off whatever polling station you're at. You kind of work that around the crowd. So if it's super busy, ideally you either want to eat at your table or kind of take those breaks when it's a little bit quieter and there's some downtime, and having a couple less elections officers kind of is not a bad thing. So I was able to, of course, step away, take my lunch. We were in one of the churches in one of the communities, and they had a little kitchen area in the back, so we had access to a fridge to store our lunch in and a microwave if we wanted to heat anything up. And then they had some tables and chairs back there that we could use and kind of sit and eat at, so we were able to actually get away from our tables in, it was kind of, I guess, like their mass area that they hold their services in. That's where we had, it was more of a modern church kind of thing, so it was almost like a big open room. And then behind us was a stage. So basically, we were able to set up in front of the stage, all the polling stations and stuff, and we had that big room to kind of work with. And then we had kind of that little back area where the kitchen and all that was, that we could kind of take our breaks in and stuff like that. So that was nice. You don't always get that in each polling station. So I did that for the 5 days, and like I said, those were very long hours. I started most days at like 8 a.m. and I didn't get out of there, or just before, or just after 8 a.m. and then I would get out of there just after 8 p.m. when the polls shut down for the day. I did that 5 days in a row, 12-hour days. So I think by like day 3, 4, most of us started getting kind of loopy and silly. It's just par for the course. Of course, we keep it under wraps when we have people in there for the most part. But we got goofy with each other. And I was working with 7 other election officers, a site supervisor, 2 ballot, and people who took the ballots and kind of kept an eye on the ballot boxes, which were the tabulators. So there were 2 gentlemen working that, and then a information person who kind of just makes sure that everybody has their ID ready and sends them over to the tables kind of thing, and directs the flow of traffic in and out. We all got to know each other pretty good, got along well with everybody. We had lots of fun during our lulls. The location I happened to be working at wasn't exactly the busiest voting spot, so we had quite a few lulls, and then we would get like little spurts of groups of people, and that was mostly kind of in around lunch hours, end of the day, when they would be coming home from work, just before dinner kind of thing. And then what we called the evening walkers, the ones who usually have their dinner and then would go out walking in the evening and just kind of stop by to get their vote in. before heading back home kind of thing. So we had a couple of those. Those were kind of our big major times where we got busy. So it was pretty easy to plan breaks and stuff around that. The nice thing about working these kind of things is you can sit there and chit chat when you're not busy. Or you can pull out a book and read. So I got a little bit of reading done, which I don't get to do very often. And I ended up bringing a book that I had borrowed from my aunt that she thought I might like after she had read it, called Still Life by Louise Penny. So I read probably 3/4 of that book in 2 days. I didn't pick it up the first few days because I was kind of just chatting with my fellow election officers, and I was at my laptop at my little table, and then I shared a printer with another election officer. So I got to know her and we chatted quite a bit. We got along really well. So I didn't dive into my book right away. That was kind of the last 2 days, 2-3 days roughly, when it was kind of, when I got the feel for the place that it was pretty slow. Lots of downtime, and that kind of helped me pass the time a bit quicker. Because like I said, it's long days. I would pretty much come home, make my meals for the next day, because you eat on site, you can't leave site in case you influence the voters kind of thing. So you have to stay on site. You can have people drop food off, you can order food, like they're not picky about stuff like that, which is always good. You just can't leave the site. So I made sure I had all my meals packed up and ready to go, and then I would pretty much, if I needed to shower or anything, I would get that done, and then I pretty much crawled into bed and crashed, because getting up and then going the next day, working the 12 hours, takes a lot of energy out of a person, especially one who's not used to working all the time. But it was good. It was nice. It was a different change of pace. I, of course, didn't get any time to work on diamond paintings, which I greatly missed. I'm not used to not working on them at least a little portion of my day. But it was good. It helped people to vote, and I mean, you do get some cranky ones, but then you also get the people who are very grateful that, you know, you volunteered and you're spending your time being there so that they can come and vote. And they actually say thank you for volunteering and stuff like that. So we do get a couple people that are very, very nice like that. But so that basically filled up my entire week last week. Was working that. That was the Tuesday through Saturday. And then Sunday I had a day away from all of that. But that was pretty much, I slept as much as I could. I kind of slept in, went down for a nap, and my son did, little things like that. So I slept a good portion, kind of caught up on some sleep. And kind of got my brain somewhat functioning again, because on the Monday I was actually in the Elections Alberta, one of their electoral division offices in the area. Each electoral division has an office, and they're responsible for that division, which is kind of outlined by certain neighborhoods and areas. So I was working in one of those on election day. I went in the evening, just before polls kind of closed down, and I was the person answering the phone lines for the site supervisors as they called in the results. So basically that just entailed me answering the phone, making sure they had all their results calculated for all of their voting stations, that they were pretty much ready to give the numbers, that they were balanced. for their ballots, that nothing was off in that sense, and then just making sure they knew where to go and drop off all the official documents afterwards and things like that. So I was that person, which was interesting to kind of be behind the scenes, and then I would be filling out a standard form with those numbers, and then I passed it along to an admin assistant and another lady who were entering the results that were live for all of Alberta, so that people could kind of see roughly what the numbers were looking like for each of the candidates and parties who were running for it. So that was kind of an interesting behind the scenes. I hadn't done that in prior elections before. It was a little bit of a gong show too, because some site supervisors didn't realize that they had to call in, or they called in half the results and thought they were good, even though they said they would call back with a number, and then they ended up dropping off stuff. So it was a little bit of running around to kind of organize and get some of those numbers after the fact. Especially when you're calling them back going, you were supposed to call back and we still need these numbers. Oh, I dropped them off. Thankfully I was on site for that, but I was running between kind of like a little office area, and then next door used to be like a little pool hall kind of thing, so they were set up in there, and that's where the training had taken place and stuff like that. But they were set up in there to kind of take in all the documents, count the special ballots that had been in the office, little things like that. So I was kind of running back and forth between those two places as well. And then once I had everybody's numbers in, it was just a matter of a few that had turned theirs in that weren't balanced, and just kind of confirming up some last minute details. I had run over to where that little pool hall side was and helped a little bit with balancing, figuring out where they had lost. Like, a couple of them were out a couple of ballots, and kind of figuring out where their numbers were off. So I did a little bit of that, and then I got out of there at, what was that, about midnight, just before midnight. So I got home at about midnight, and that was pretty much grab a glass of water, get into my PJs, take a quick bathroom break, that sort of thing, and then crawl into bed. And then, of course, because of that late night, I ended up pretty much sleeping Tuesday quite a bit. My son was in school, so I took that opportunity to, of course, sneak in a nap or two. Just to kind of recharge and feel like a human. And, sorry, just finding my next color here. Yeah, so that was all my election work. That tied up, like I said, on the Monday, and then Tuesday I slept. Wednesday was finally the first day that I kind of got back at my diamond painting. And then today, here I am filming a WIP Chat. Oh, and apparently turning off my light. Sorry about that. So, it's been quite a busy 2 weeks. I haven't really been home, haven't really been diamond painting. My little guy missed me. I think it was by day 2 or 3 of working the advanced polls. He really wanted me to come and play with him in the room, and I said, Mommy can't. Mommy's got to get ready and go help people vote. And I got the biggest, fattest little lip ever as he pouted, and then he buried his face into Dad. And I felt like such a meanie. So I told him that I loved him, and that I just had to help people go vote, and that he'd have me on Sunday. And this was kind of, he's used to having me home, so I don't think he really liked me going out and working like that, especially that many hours, that long, that many days. But he managed. I know he had fun with Dad. And he survived it. But I definitely had a little shadow on the Sunday and again on the Tuesday when he was home, making sure I didn't go out of his sight and that he was in the same room as me, keeping an eye on me, making sure I was sitting down, not planning on going anywhere unless he was coming, sort of thing. So yeah, he definitely, I think, missed having me home. But now we're kind of back on our normal schedule. I've had time to kind of take a breather, so I've scheduled in his specialized services for the month. I have to phone his school for next year because she wants to do a quick little meet and greet and show us the classroom, and so she had phoned to try to schedule that while I was working the election, so I have to just phone her back and schedule that in at some point. So that'll be kind of the next step. Do that today, hopefully. Get some laundry done, that sort of thing. So that's kind of in the works. The hubby now is on his shutdown work for the next 2.5 months. So he's doing the long days, 6 days a week. Well, I'm pretty much going to be finishing off the school year with this little guy and then figuring out how to keep him occupied for summer break. Yeah. I think that is really kind of the most I can catch everybody up on because, like I said, working elections, not a whole bunch happened. As that was kind of the main thing that I was focused on and doing, and now it's just kind of picking up, getting back into the groove of things again. Gotta get back to watching my shows. I've been binge watching Wentworth. So I want to get back into that. I think I just finished season 6 of it. And I think there's 1 or 2 more seasons left to go. So that's next. Definitely going to dive back into that. I usually kind of watch those kind of shows in the evenings when I'm diamond painting in here, or when my son's at school and I'm not doing any kind of filming but I'm diamond painting, that sort of thing. So I'll definitely have to get back into some of that. And yeah, I pretty much think that's about it for my update. Not much happening. I got our seats opened up for our gaming thing, so I got our seats all picked out for that. So that's coming up in the beginning of August there, and we're looking forward to that. Of course, I'll have to try to get myself a new game or two to play. I usually like to kind of do that, just in case I want to try something new and I don't feel like playing some of the games I currently own. But I think this might end up being a little bit on the shorter side, and I apologize for that. The only other thing I'm curious about is I want to ask everybody, I know this is a diamond painting channel, but I know often when you're a diamond painter you do enjoy other crafts as well, and I'm just curious what other crafts people end up working on. What else do they like to do? Do you card make? Do you scrapbook? Do you do other paper crafts? Acrylic painting, watercolor, any of that kind of stuff? General crafting, where you're just kind of taking things and gluing them together to create something with Oh, that could be anything, like leftover household stuff. Let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious kind of what everybody else normally dives into other than diamond painting. Because I was just thinking a little bit about that, and I know I diamond paint a lot on this channel, but there's a lot of crafts that I do myself. I do a little bit of adult coloring. I do a little bit of acrylic painting on canvases or painting wooden objects with acrylic paints. I do the scrapbooking thing, I do the card making thing. I have made the odd other like little paper craft thing, but not much. I've recently seen and kind of enjoyed the idea of the ATC cards that I've seen, which are a paper craft, and they're basically just an artist trading card. They're the size of like a baseball card, and then they're done up in like a scrapbook kind of style. So I've recently been seeing some of those and thought that might be something fun that I hadn't tried, and so I'm just curious. I would like to get into resin. That's another thing eventually I would like to try diving into. So yeah, I'm just curious. Let me know in the comments below, what else do you guys like working on? Maybe you'll inspire me to try something new. Maybe I've inspired you to try something new just by mentioning some of the stuff that I've worked on and enjoy working on. I definitely need to kind of pull myself away a bit from diamond painting. Not that I don't enjoy it, but I need to either set aside like once a week or something where I try not to diamond paint and I work on something else is what I'm thinking. Because there's so many crafts that I enjoy, so many other crafts, and I tend to get caught up in diamond painting, I really do. And I feel like some of those other crafts have been lacking a bit. Yeah. And I know I've been inspired by other crafters out there and other YouTube content creators who have been working on stuff, and even seeing some of the stuff that they receive in friend mail that people have made and kind of going, oh, you know, I should really get back into that craft. So yeah, that's just been something randomly on my mind. I, of course, need to get some other filmings done. I've got one more diamond art club that I need to film an unboxing for. I've got some low budget friendly company stuff that I need to unbox for, and then because I've worked elections, once I get some pay, I've got some shopping to do, so that I've got some more fun stuff to unbox. But yeah, I'm just I think that's about it, really. And I will, I guess, see everybody in the next WIP Chat. And once again, I apologize if this is a little bit on the shorter end. Now that I'm kind of back to my normal schedule and more than just one thing is going on, I'll be able to hopefully have a better update for you in 2 weeks, more interesting than just elections. I definitely feel like that's all that's been on my plate lately. Not that it's a terrible thing, but I'm definitely glad the long days are over and I can kind of get back to my normal. Yeah, so I will see everybody in the next video, and I hope everybody has a great one. Bye.